Washington State is in an interesting position when it comes to concussions in youth sports. The Zachary Lysted Law was started in Washington and it's signed in 2009, and it changed the game to help prevent the destructive damages from concussions in youth sports. There were several power players in the signing of the law, and none perhaps more vocal than Doug Andreasen. Andreasen is the former president of Washington Youth Soccer and now spends his days advocating for better concussion prevention in youth sports.
What we've learned in the last 8 years is one that kids' brains are developing through all their youth at this point. The analogy that we use is simply if we put an egg on this table and we have 5 people sitting on the table and we give each of them a spoon and say tap that egg as many times as you can tap it without breaking it, how many times can you tap it, can I tap it, can this person tap it before it breaks? You might tap it 5 times, I might tap it once and it breaks, this person might tap it 3 times. We don't know what the number is before that egg breaks. What we do know is that every time you tap the egg, damage is being done to the brain. So if you think of the child's head as that egg, many times those taps occur in practices, by the way, whether it be in American football, whether it be in volleyball, whether it be in soccer. We do know that the child's head is getting taps. So where soccer comes into this, we find that either it's heading, which is a tap on the child's head, or it's actual on-the-field impact. Head-to-head contact, head-to-elbow, head-to-goalpost, head-to-ground is what we find. So those taps are what we know now leads up to concussion.
Andreasen's work has him in contact with some of U.S. soccer's biggest names. Whether it's former MLS star Taylor Twellman, whose incredibly successful career was cut short by concussions, or Brandy Chastain, another concussion advocate, Andreasen is in a circle trying to bring reform to the idea of heading in youth soccer. Andreasen, Chastain, and others want to take headers out of U14 soccer. But in the meantime, Andreasen points to a safer way to head a ball.
If we must teach heading, let's teach it with a soft ball. And maybe that's a Nerf ball, a sponge ball. Maybe it's a balloon that we teach heading with. But let's take that hard ball out of the picture and teach heading with a much softer ball. And let's change our techniques about how to head the ball as well. Most of the injuries that youth happen, concussion-wise, happen because they're heading the ball with the wrong part of the head. The successful header really comes from the top of the forehead, where it comes from the harder part of the skull. Kids don't quite get that, so sometimes the ball comes off the top of the head, the crown, comes off the side of the head, comes off both sides, comes off the ears sometimes, and that's where those taps on that head come into effect.
To illustrate those taps on the head in soccer, I traveled to Seattle University and enlisted the help of Michael Roberts, a junior midfielder for the Red Hawks. Roberts estimates that the average midfielder takes 10 to 15 headers a game, and that number increases to 15 to 20 for defenders and forwards. Having played all his life, Roberts has taken many a header, but knows the difference between the right way and the wrong way to head it. Here, he'll show us the difference between the two.
So the proper way to head is absolutely off the top of the forehead is where the spot is to head a ball. It's the hardest part of the skull. If there is going to be some damage, the least amount of damage is going to probably cause from that part of the head, and that's the spot you got to teach them at, and that's what we have to do. We got to do a better job.
Andreasen works tirelessly to protect the futures of the 135,000 youth soccer players of Washington State. The reform he and others hope to bring to the youth game might extend the career of many a young athlete. The game as we know it might be coming to a stop, but it could save plenty of lives in the process.